everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a hot minute, but I got a new job and I've been working a lot and traveling a lot, so sorry for not posting often, but I never promised I would post weekly or anything, so you're gonna get these whenever I feel like making them. But today is a big day, a monumental day. Possibly the biggest and most monumental cinema experience of the year, and that is Barbenheimer, which I went to see on Friday with my friend Ellie. Hi Ellie, if you're watching. And I have a lot to say. All good things this time, because I always have to reference my Avatar video where I said only bad things. But yeah, I have a lot of good things to say about both movies, so let's get started. So first, obviously, we have to start with Barbie, and I'm going to do this in the order that I watched the movies, which was Barbie, then Oppenheimer. So first, let's talk about Barbie. There was so much press leading up to this, and I was really excited for it to come out because Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, like super star-studded cast. But mostly I was just excited at the premise of the movie because they released so little of the plot, and still, like, when I went into the theater, I had pretty much no idea what was going to happen. And so to see it all unfold was really fun. I really liked the story. I thought it could be a teeny tiny bit preachy at times, but some people need to hear that and hear it that way. Like, there might be no other way for them to truly understand without having it, like, in your face. I really loved the aesthetic of the movie, all the pink, it was so pretty. But I think my favorite part was just the acting, how on point everybody was, all the Barbies and the Kens all acting in such a specific way, and they were all so perfect. Also, side note, having 3 members of the sex education cast in one movie was amazing. Cannot wait for season 4. And to all of the people who are mad that season 4 is the last season, why? Like, I feel like they said at the end of season 3 that the next season was going to be the final. And also, a lot of high school drama series only last 4 seasons because there's 4 years of high school, which is not even the case in England where it's set. But that's a different video. Some of the things I really, really loved about Barbie were, like, the perfect feeling and then it starts to crumble. Like, that's a trope that I really enjoy. I liked when they went into the real world and Barbie started realizing, like, things aren't perfect here. I thought it was really funny that she gets absolutely read to filth by a bunch of 13-year-old girls, because I am also afraid of 13-year-old girls and feel like they would totally do that to me. I love Ken's obsession with horses. I think that's so funny. And everyone should watch the GQ interview with Ryan Gosling because he's just playing Ken and talking about horses. I really liked the setup of the big Mattel corporate building. I like how, even though it's in the real world, it still has fantasy elements. I like that kind of thing. I just love how over the top it is. Like, it doesn't take itself seriously for most of the movie, and when it does take itself seriously, it's at the really important parts, which is fine, it's perfect. Because, like I said, people need to hear that. But, like, all the Kens, there's not a single serious thing about them. I really loved Michael Cera's character of Alan. I think that was perfect casting. I think he played it super well because he was just playing the character he usually plays, but Barbie. America Ferrera was great. And the girl who played her daughter, I can't remember her name right now, but she was also great. But this movie was just filled with amazing actors, and I'm so glad they got to all do this movie and have fun. Like, it couldn't be a bad day on that set. Come on. It's all pink and beautiful and lovely, and everyone just gets to wear cute clothes and act silly all the time. Also, I read somewhere that this Barbie movie is projected to be the biggest release for a single female director in history. Like, the most money coming in, most gross income, or something like that, which is super, super exciting because we love Greta Gerwig. If you don't love Greta Gerwig, unsubscribe from my channel. All of her movies are fantastic. I don't care what you think. I love her. Also, another major point that needs to be made about Barbie is the soundtrack. Oh my god, it's amazing. I've had I'm Just Ken stuck in my head for 3 days, and I'm gonna go see the movie again this afternoon, so it's gonna be back up there. I think that might have been my favorite sequence of the whole movie, is just the I'm Just Ken, the dance, the Ken fight. It was so funny. I also really liked, and major spoiler warning, I'm sorry I didn't say that before, but this is gonna be all spoilers for both movies. I really liked when they were singing with the guitars on the beach, and then it moved out and everyone was singing on the beach. It was so funny. And the moment where they said, "Oh, tell him to explain The Godfather to you," like all these classic male things, it just made me laugh so much. And I'm very excited to see the movie again and get to laugh all over again. Also, for the movie, I made these Barbenheimer bracelets. Ellie has the other one, but I didn't have any like little charms that I felt could capture both of them, so I did a pink smiley face and a red smiley face for Oppenheimer. The audience for the Barbie movie was so female. Like, there were so many more women and female presenting people at the Barbie movie than there were at Oppenheimer, which I thought was hilarious. And my theater has a little Barbie box that you could take pictures in, which I did take a picture and I'll put it in the video later. So that was really cute, but that was the most crowded I've ever seen the theater. And there were so many people dressed in pink, it was adorable. I will say overall, comparing the two movies, I did like Barbie quite a bit more. Maybe because it was shorter, maybe because there were a lot more women in it, maybe because the audience was more women in the theater, but Barbie is just a movie more for me. Didn't know anything about atomic bombs. I did not know who Oppenheimer was until I heard about this movie, because they just never taught me that in school, and that was not one of my hyperfixations as a child. But we'll talk about Oppenheimer later. Final thoughts on Barbie. Amazing. I gave it 5 stars. I'll put my Letterboxd review below. It made me really want to buy a Barbie and a Ken. It was fantastic marketing for Mattel. It was empowering as a woman, but also it was like, shit, like, is anything ever gonna get better? Because sometimes it feels that way. Like, you can feel like you're in a little bubble, like in the Barbie movie. Like, in my town, we're the only liberal town in a huge state of conservatives, so it's kind of hard to think that anything's going to get better because they keep passing horrible legislation, and it's not going to change if I leave unless people do something about it, which was another message I liked from the movie. Nihilism gets you nowhere, which I said in my Everything Everywhere All at Once video. I liked that, what was her name? Sasha, the little girl, she was in middle school, told her mom, like, yes, things are bad, but they're not going to change if you don't do anything. Like, you can make them better. It might not be the best, but you can make it better, which I think is something people really need to hear right now, because I feel like, I don't know if it's older people or if it's everyone is kind of settling for less. I feel like the older generations are kind of pushing onto us younger generations, like, you guys are going to be the ones to fix it, but we don't have to, because you're going to fix it. But you can still make it better. Like, don't ignore the problem just because it doesn't affect you where you are or something like that. You can't fix the whole systemic issue, because you'd have to go all the way back to the roots of our society and like fix that. But you can make things better for people right now and start small. That's what grassroots organizers and like the younger up and coming liberal politicians are trying to do, but I don't really think there's enough of them to make a change that big, which that's why we all need to work together. But I won't preach at you about politics. That's not what this channel is about. But I did love that message. And I can see why conservatives on the internet are getting really mad at Barbie, which is hilarious. But like, leaving that movie, I could understand why they didn't like it. But I liked it. And that's all that matters. Anyway, Oscar nomination for Ryan Gosling? I don't know. I hope so. But those are my thoughts on Barbie. Absolutely loved the movie. I am going back to watch it again in like 2 hours because it's amazing. It's a feel-good movie. I felt good the whole time watching it. I laughed, I cried, I sang along. Perfect movie in my opinion. My friend Noah from the Fablemans video, go watch it, go support him and Danny because they're the best. Requested that I do a costume change, but I don't really have Oppenheimer-y clothes, so I'm collared shirt. I wish I had suspenders and a hat, but I do not. So anyway, let's talk about Oppenheimer. First of all, like I said, I didn't really know anything about this going into it. I knew the cast, but I didn't know the story at all. Also, I'm relatively new to the world of Christopher Nolan. I've only seen Dunkirk and, because he did Dunkirk, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And The Dark Knight. So I haven't seen like Tenet or anything. I don't really know most of his work. And I loved The Dark Knight. I did not like Dunkirk that much because I don't like war movies. But people said this is different than other Nolan films. I was like, okay. Let's start off the visuals. Oh my gosh. A little bit overwhelming at times, but the movie was very beautiful. Like, I liked the color palette. I liked the moments when he was like thinking in his mind and it was like atoms and molecules and stuff. I don't actually know what that was supposed to represent, but like building the bomb in his head or figuring that stuff out in his mind. I really enjoyed that. The first like 30 minutes I was trying to figure out what was going on between all the shifts in perspective. I kind of figured out that the shift between black and white and in color was black and white in Robert Downey Jr.'s perspective and in color in Cillian Murphy's perspective, but I did have someone explain it to me more fully, and it was Noah. Shout him out. Go watch his YouTube videos. I'll link his channel in the description. I'm in one of them, so. I liked the movie overall. It felt 3 hours. I did leave the theater like, oh my gosh, I was in there a long time. I checked my phone once during the movie just to see what time it was. Please don't come for me. It was once and it was almost over. Talking about the performances themselves in the movie, I think Cillian Murphy did a good job. Like, I would need to research more about what Oppenheimer was like, but he acted about how I would expect that kind of a person to act. Emily Blunt was great. I would like to have learned more about her character's past in the movie. There could have been a lot more women in this movie, and I appreciate that they put women in the Los Alamos Project and in the schools. I didn't know if that was actually something that happened at the time or something they included, but it was nice to see some women, but really not enough, especially after watching Barbie, which my friend Clara told me and our friends that Oppenheimer doesn't pass the Bechdel test and Barbie doesn't pass the reverse Bechdel test, which is hilarious. But yeah, I thought Emily Blunt was great. I wanted more Florence Pugh. Like, she killed it. She always kills it. But I could have used less of her naked body and more screen time from her, which I know she can't control. I don't blame her at all. I blame Christopher Nolan. But she was great in the moments she was in. Also, when I heard that they were doing a full frontal nudity scene, I thought it was going to be Cillian Murphy, you guys. I didn't think it was going to be Florence Pugh. And honestly, I'm a little disappointed. Not really. But wouldn't that be funny? I thought Robert Downey Jr. was amazing. I think he could definitely get an Oscar nomination from this and maybe even win. But I don't know what's coming out between now and March, so we'll see. But he was so good. Matt Damon was incredible. I need to watch more Matt Damon stuff because I kind of underwrote him for so long. I was like, oh, he's like an action movie guy. He's Jason Bourne, whatever. But he's a fantastic character actor. I need to watch more of his stuff. I was worried Rami Malek wasn't going to get to talk. I was so scared because I love that man. But he did. He, spoiler again, blew the whole case wide open. I was so happy to see him get such an important role. I just love the way he talks. It's very soothing on the ear. I liked all the people playing the students. I think they did great. The kid from Jumanji was in this movie, which is very exciting to see him doing big work. Very proud of him. I forget his name. I think it's Alex something. Casey Affleck was in this movie, which is crazy because I thought he was canceled. But then I was on IMDb and I was like, oh my gosh, he played that evil guy. So yeah, Casey Affleck is still getting work, just in case anyone was concerned. Also, I found out later on Gary Oldman played Harry Truman. I didn't recognize him. It was a crazy moment. Overall with Oppenheimer, I didn't like it as much as Barbie. I recognize that it's a very well-made film. I think my favorite scene was the scene where they did the bomb and there was no sound, and then he said the line, "Now I am become death, destroyer of mankind," I think it is. And I really liked that they put that in there and they put it all silent until like you hear it, like it was very loud. But I liked the way that scene was set up and the tension it built, because I was pretty tense in the theater watching that. And I liked that he showed remorse for building the bomb that killed over 100,000 people in Japan. I feel like most people would feel remorse for killing that many people. It was really a horrible tragedy. But yeah, overall I did enjoy the movie. It felt long, but I understand, like, it's a very important piece of cinema. I'm glad it was made. I'm glad I got to see it. I don't ever need to watch it again. But it was good. I gave it 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd, just because I don't feel like I was the target audience. If you know me well, you know I'm not thinking about atomic bombs or that side of history very much. But yeah, I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed seeing everything unfold. I really liked the way it was set up, but Barbie was my favorite. I walked out of Oppenheimer. I did not have a single thought in my brain. I just kept going like, oh my God, because like that movie took a lot of thought to watch. Barbie doesn't take a lot of thought to watch, but it's okay. Both fantastic movies. I'm glad I got to see them back to back. I've never done a double feature like that, so it was really cool. Thank you to Ellie for coming up with the idea to go to Barbenheimer. Thank you to Noah for FaceTiming me for like an hour and a half after, just so we could talk about it, because there was a lot to discuss. And yeah, thank you to the filmmakers. It was amazing. Very great day. I was at the theater from 3:30 in the afternoon to 11 o'clock at night. So that was pretty special, but yeah, it was great. I hope to do more double features in the future. So that's all I have to say about these 2 movies. I hope to make one more video before I start college, but I want to try and make some more while I'm there. So the background for the videos is going to change in 3 or 4 weeks. I don't really know. But I hope to make a Succession video before I start school, because if you guys follow my reviews Instagram account, you know I've been binge watching Succession. I'm almost done. We're about to start season 4, and like it has taken over my brain. Like everything that's going on up here is about Succession, is thinking about Succession, everything. But thank you all for watching. I am so glad I had this experience. I think people should do double features more often. And yeah, Barbenheimer it lived up to expectations. It exceeded expectations. Let's say that. So thank you all. Yeah, have a great day. Bye.